Now more than ever, we need artists to share their stories. We need to take all of this crazy madness and turn it into just like a beautiful field of wildflowers. Like, we need to take all of the hard, brutal things that are going on in the world and turn them into something amazing, because that is actually what's going to bring people together. Yo, what's up? I'm going to do a quick video here because I actually already shot this video, but I realized I screwed it up because I said there was one thing that you could do that could make you a better filmmaker, but actually after I watched the video back that I had just shot, I realized that I mentioned two things. So I wanted to redo it, and what's behind me here, which is amazing, is an old psychiatric center that's actually being torn down. But the buildings are magnificent, they're amazing, and I hate when old buildings like that get torn down, so I wanted to have it documented in something. So here I am in the parking lot of a ShopRite up in Poughkeepsie, New York, but in front of what used to be some vintage, like beautiful old buildings. So anyway, there's a lot of security around here too, because they don't like when people film that for some reason. I don't know what the reason is for that, but anyway, what I believe is that there are two things that you can do that will absolutely make you a better filmmaker immediately. And excuse my eyes, the sun is kind of beating in my face, but I wanted that stuff to be behind me. So I'm shooting this in S-Log too, so hopefully I'll look good when I get home to the computer and I won't be all blown out. So anyway, there are two things that you need to do to become a better filmmaker, and I'm speaking for myself as well, and I'm actually speaking from experience. And the two things you need to do are the following. The first thing is you need to stop watching all these tech videos on what lens to use and how to, get your exposure correct and how to use cameras and all this kind of stuff, and what's the best lighting and, what's the best sound equipment and all this technical stuff, which is absolutely crucial to watch. And the people who offer this information are just geniuses to me, and really, really generous spirits. But you need to, at least a couple of days a week, maybe half of your time, you need to stop watching that stuff and you need to watch films. You need to watch actual movies, okay? You need to watch Cinema Paradiso. You need to watch Roma. You need to watch The Last Tree. You need to watch series like Station 11. You need to watch The Wire. Go watch The Wire. It's like the Bible. I mean, you need to watch finished, completed stories that will inspire you, that will keep you on track, because, it'll keep you on track and remind you of what the whole point of all this is, which is to tell stories. I mean, unless you're somebody who's just really interested in kind of like being a scientist or something like that, and you're really into the settings of the camera and how the ISO works and the white balance and things like that, which is fine. But if you're into, if that's all you're into, then okay, carry on. Just watch these videos and just continue with your scientific research. However, if your thing is that eventually you want to tell stories, you must watch films. You have to do it. You have to immerse yourself in as much as you can possibly kind of take in, and allow yourself to be inspired and also learn about conflict and resolution and what happens in between. And you just have to see how characters are developed and how characters unfold and how they change over time. And evolution is a big thing. You need to learn about exposition and denouement and different aspects to script writing, and the best way to do that is to watch films or watch series like miniseries. There are so many incredible things out there to watch. Just get on HBO, get on Netflix, get on Showtime, get on the Stars Network, or get on something like Pluto TV, which is for free. And as long as you have a smartphone, you can watch that and just watch movies all day and all night. And old vintage great movies too. There's actually a channel here at YouTube called Omeleto with one L and one T. And you need to subscribe to that channel because it is just a plethora of short films. And they're really, really good. And I think you'll be very, very inspired and moved by them. So anyway, that's the first thing that you must do. You must stop watching all these tech videos every once in a while and get yourself on watching some movies and some series. And I mentioned Station 11. I highly recommend that. It was incredible. Lovecraft Country, incredible. Mare of Eastown, this much I know is true. Just watch, okay? The second thing you need to do is you need to start to make your own films. Now, I don't care if it's 30 seconds long, 1 minute, 7 minutes, 20 minutes, you can make a full-length feature film, start to shoot stuff on your own. Like write a script and just shoot it, even if it's only you. Or, you know, get some of your friends or your family or your daughter or your sister or your mother or whatever. Get people involved. But if not, do it solo. But get in the habit of actually creating stories, even if you think it sucks, just do it. Because the more you do it, the more you're going to be able to like kind of apply all this stuff that you're learning. And trust me, it's going to make a lot of sense. And you know, to give you a good example, I'm actually a good example, okay? I spent 25 years in the music business. And you know, I did pretty well. I earned a living for a long time. I left after a while. I've been now in the theater for a very long time, okay? But I was in that business for a while. But when I was in college, the only class that I ever failed was music. And that's because we were learning theory and it was just not applied to anything. Like the teacher would not let us apply it to playing instruments or anything like that. For some reason, this woman just wanted us to learn theory. And so I couldn't do it. It didn't make any sense to me. And ironically, I already played the guitar. I already played the piano. You know, I taught myself how to play these instruments, but I didn't know anything about theory. And so I failed. You know, I didn't graduate school either, by the way, but that's a whole other story. But anyway, when I came home back to New York, because I went all the way to Colorado, it's the first time I was ever out of New York, other than visiting my grandmother and grandfather in Florida one time. But first time I ever flew was when I went to college in Colorado. Again, I digress, another story. But when I came home and I got into the music business and started to take it seriously, I read Walter Piston's book called Harmony, which is like the Bible of music theory. And I studied with a guy named Richie Hart, who's a genius jazz player. And I studied and I learned how to read and I learned theory. And, you know, so I actually learned it because I was applying it because I already played. And so I could pick up my guitar and I could apply harmony and solfege and all this stuff that I was learning to what I was actually doing already. So what I'm saying to you is when you're learning all this stuff about your camera settings and, you know, your aperture and, you know, the rule of thirds and your triangle and all this kind of stuff, make films. Go out there and shoot something in your backyard or in the lobby of your building or on the fire escape or out on the street or whatever, in a parking lot in front of a ShopRite in Poughkeepsie. You know, I've got so many videos in New York City because I always use New York City as my playground, and that's what I did. You know, another good example that I use for myself is that I shot a full-length feature film on my phone before I knew anything, just because I had this story. It was originally a play. My play got canceled because of the pandemic, which broke my heart and destroyed my world and had me wanting to jump off a bridge. And instead, I kind of had the audacity to say, you know what, how else can I tell this story? And I thought, you know what, I have a phone. I film myself rehearsing all the time. I kind of share my process with people in the theater, you know, my theater work. And so I said, why don't I shoot a movie? And I did it. And guess what? It, you know, what started as just something to do and something to kind of break me out of my depression turned into the greatest experience of my creative life. And I wound up having these collaborators with the music because as much as I'm a musician, I realized that if I scored this myself, I never would have finished the project because I was learning how to color grade and color correct and, you know, edit video, and, you know, I was learning everything. And so it took everything out of my body to learn how to do this. And so it took about 2 years to, you know, year and a half to shoot the film. Well, about a year to shoot it, another 6 to 8 months to edit it. But I got this guy, Steve Peckman, a friend of mine, to do the score. Genius work, incredible. We already won Best Original Score at 2 festivals, along with Best Indie Feature. And what I'm saying is I had no idea what I was doing. I just went out and did it. So you should do the same thing. Just shoot something, you know, like get used to shooting yourself and work on all the stuff that you're learning. You know, work on your exposure and work on your, you know, ability to focus, you know, yourself. Like I use mostly manual focus in my film because the autofocus screwed up a few times. And so I actually learned manual focusing, which is much more difficult than autofocus, obviously. But now I know how to do both really well. And so That's the second thing you need to do. So those are the two things you absolutely can do to make yourself a better filmmaker, like right away, full stop. It's going to happen. I'm not saying that you're going to be where you want to be immediately. It's still going to take years. It's going to take your 10,000 hours to get in there and, you know, master what you're doing, but you're going to get better and better. And what I'm saying is that you can actually do something now, like right off the bat. You don't have to wait. Just do it. You know, it's going to inspire you. It's going to fill you up. It's going to be like good nutrition. It's going to make you feel so good, and it's going to move you forward much faster. And also, it's going to make you starving for more information, because as you work on your stuff and as you start to develop your own stories, you're going to fall short a few times, and you're going to not be able to do certain things. You're going to have to go back to YouTube, to these geniuses who are teaching you and me how to do all this stuff, and you're going to search and you're going to find exactly what you were looking for that stopped you for a moment in your film, and then you're going to be able to figure that out and move forward and finish that film and on to the next and to the next and to the next and so on and so forth and all of that kind of good stuff. So those are the two things. Watch films and make films, and you will become a better filmmaker immediately. And thank you to all the YouTubers who have taught me so much and are teaching all of you so much. I mean, I think that's incredible that they put all this information out there. The Gerald Undones of the world and the Make Art Now, that guy Josh Yo. I mean, that shit is ridiculous. It's incredible. So anyway, I'm going to end this now. That's my 2 cents on how to become a better filmmaker for whatever it's worth. And I hope that helps you in some kind of way. I knew that person. I hope that helped you in some kind of way, and I hope it moves you forward. And thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one. And please subscribe, and please hit the like button if you found that you like this. And see you next time. Peace.